What's up, buddy? Why are you being so chatty this morning? I've been a father for over 15 years now, and it's still one of the scariest and most fulfilling things I've ever done in my life. Allie comes home today. There's something different about that first kid. For me, it's my daughter, Allie. Allie, she's the one that christened me into fatherhood. I experienced all my first time parenting things with her, but there's just something different about that bond you have with someone when you experience a first time journey with them. There's those initial emotions of becoming a first time parent. The birth, worrying about changing the diapers so they don't get rashes, or even worse things like worrying about viruses and SIDS. I can still remember that moment Allie was born. My wife laying in the bed in the hospital, and I'm just standing beside her looking at this beautiful thing, and tears and this flood of emotions is overwhelming me as I hold her for the first time. And those emotions were a lot of joy and a lot of fear. I remember holding her and just standing there looking at her and just weeping, and Kristen asking me if I was okay. And I remember saying something to her about how this little person, this human life, is completely dependent on me. Food, well, maybe not food at first, but food, clothing, safety, all these things she's looking to me for. She's depending on me for these things. And if I fail, she fails. Or at least that's how it felt. I used to stay up all night to make sure that she was still breathing. She got jaundice, and just a week after being born, she had RSV. It was a really scary time. But looking back over these last 15 years and also becoming a believer during that time, I can see how faulty those thoughts were. They were very real, but also very faulty. Time to go to work. But something changes for dads during those first few years as their little baby grows. Those fears begin to be overshadowed by joy. The fear is still there. It's just not as noticeable. It's so wild to me how something so foreign and so different can become the norm and what you crave, and that's parenthood. The first time anything big happens, their first smile, giggle, their first steps, when they're able to see you and recognize you, and you see it in their eyes that they put absolute trust in you, and all this stuff just pushes that fear further and further away. Now you try to prepare to be a father to mitigate the unknown, because the unknown is where you lose control. And when you've lost control is when those fears set in. So you read all the books, you buy all the fancy safety equipment, all the car seats, just to try to be ready. Now, until you experience that joy and that bond and that feeling of being superhuman in someone else's eyes, nothing compares to that feeling. And nothing calls a man to do the things a man is supposed to do more than that. Yep. There's moisture in this camera. And when everything seems to be going well and you've kind of fallen into a routine and all the fears have subsided and you're riding high on fatherhood, that's when it seems when everyone starts to say the famous phrase, "Enjoy this moment, they grow up so fast." Now you smile and you nod and you don't really think too much into what they just said because you're already living it. You're busy cuddling and playing and reading little critters and making sure they don't get a boo-boo and that everything they eat isn't full of sugar. You're not thinking about what that stranger just said because you're already living in the moment like they suggested. I need a sign. All of a sudden, those phrases that it seems like people are just regurgitating because they've heard them before, they become very real. The days are gone where she looks to me for everything. I mean, sometimes she doesn't look to me for anything. But that's the path she's on right now, is self-sufficiency in adulthood. I think this will work. But things are going to be different now. And there's no way to prepare for it. There's no books to read. You'll hear stories from other parents, but it doesn't help. This is something different. The only way to handle it is to experience it firsthand. Now, why am I thinking about this? It's because Chris and I are right in the middle of it. Allie is on her way back from another country, a third world country, that she's been there by herself. Well, not really by herself, but without her parents. Allie's been in Peru, spreading the gospel, spreading the love of Jesus, loving on the less fortunate, and she's thriving. She's not scared or reaching out to us in need. She's on this adventure without us. She's actually traveling back today. What do you think? I wasn't prepared for this part of fatherhood, for letting go. I mean, I know that's what parenting's about. We raise our kids with the outcome of them growing up and becoming mature, responsible adults and starting a family and doing the things that we worked for. But knowing that doesn't make it any easier. But I can't even begin to explain just how lucky I am to have this amazing young lady that I have as my daughter. If she hadn't become the woman she is at this early age, I don't know how I could do it. Letting go is extremely hard, but it's just as important to do it. She has to have the freedom to find her limitations, to be able to venture out away from home and then come back safely and then venture out just a little bit further and then come back again. And she has to keep doing that until she's confident to take on life by herself. And we can't fight it. If we do, we'll lose. And honestly, they'll probably lose too. As the parent, we have to know when it's time to let go. For me, this is just as hard as when she came into this world when she was a little baby. But this is what me and her mom have worked for the last 15 years. Her mom and I have done the best we can to try to teach her to live a fulfilled and godly life. And we've tried our hardest to protect her the best we know how. And we just have to hope that those lessons stuck. The bus is here. I gotta get there. I love you, sweet girl.
I love you.
Did you see what I wrote?
I don't want that.
No, that's your favorite. That's your favorite.
Not right now.
Not right now, it's not?
No.
Well.
We're getting Red Robin burgers.
Allie Ray, if you see this, I am so proud of you. I'm proud of what you're doing, of the young lady you are. I am just amazed at the light that is already shining through your life. You are so much more than I could have ever imagined you could grow up to be. I'm so grateful that you're my little girl.